Okay, we're doing pretty good. We have essentially the whole site done, or at least our homepage almost done. The big thing now is that we just need to style the navigation bar. So um, obviously these need to be links, and we haven't set any links for them yet, so I'm going to talk about links for a quick second. Down in the properties area, we talked about before, if you have a certain thing selected, different things will show up. Now if we go ahead and select this text here, um, we have a space here for the link. Now, the problem is we haven't created all of our pages yet. We've only created this home page, which isn't all the way done, but still is a page, so we can use that to link it up to itself. After that, we haven't created the About page or the Hobbies page or the Contact page. So we have to set placeholders there so they still act as links while we're styling it, but they don't actually go anywhere until we make those pages. So I'm going to go ahead and select the home text and go down here where it says link and just click on this folder icon right here. It'll take me directly to my root folder, and I can select index.html and set that as the link. So I'll just click there, hit open, and you can see it's set right here, and I know it's set in my document because now it's underlined with the default link blue color. For the rest of these, since I don't have a page to link to yet, I'm going ahead and put a pound or a hash sign to set it as a placeholder. So what this does is it still acts as a link with the hash sign right there, but it doesn't necessarily go anywhere. Later, after I create the About page and the Hobbies and the Contact pages, I'll link all those up. But for right now, in the editing phase, this works well for what we want to do. And one thing to note, we could also link text, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth about links in a future video, but I could also link to a home page. So if I had mywebsite.com and I wanted this hobbies page to go straight there, all I'd have to do is type that in here and hit return and set it. Also, I could, for example, link a PDF up, so if somebody clicked on this hobbies button, they'd download a PDF or anything else. But like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. I just want to give you an overview of what some of the things you can do with links. Let me finish these out. Go ahead and add a hash sign. Remember, you have to hit return to set it, or it won't actually be set. Okay, so I have all these set now, and the next thing I need to do is go ahead over to my sources, my style sheet, and add a new selector. So since this is set, it's in the nav, but this is also an unordered list within the nav, so we need to create a selector for that so we can edit directly to this unordered list. So I'm going to hit the plus button, and a bunch of stuff comes in here. We don't need that, but I'm going to delete some of it. We need the pound, nav, space, and then just the UL. So we're saying in the nav and the UL in the nav. So let me hit return. And now I can set some style specifically for this unordered list that I have here. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and remove the bullets you see right here. So down at the bottom, if I click more, I'm going to see the list style type. And right now it's undefined, but I'm going to go up and say none. And that's going to remove all my bullet points I had next to all this text. Now the next thing I want to do is go ahead to layout and just set margin and padding to 0. It looks like we're all set already. Let me just double check and make sure we're set at 0 all around. Look here on the lock, try 0 one more time. There we go. So now we're set 0 all around these right here, so I have no extra space when I go ahead and work with the rest of my elements. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is add one more selector. So this selector targets the links within the unordered list. So I'm going to hit the plus button one more time under selectors and add a bunch of stuff I don't need, but I'm going to go ahead and leave the hash nav UL and delete this LI and just leave the A. So the A just stands for a link. So I'm going to go ahead, create that selector, hit return, one more time. And now I'm going to start editing specifically for this so I can start to align things together and make my links act exactly how I want them to. So first thing I want to do is go up to layout and set width. So I'm going to go right here, and since I have 4 of these and I know it's 1,000 across, although it doesn't really matter in this example, I'm going to set them for 25% each. So they each take up 25% of the area since I only have 4 of them. So I'm going to select the percentage, and right here I'm going to hit 25. Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to do is go down to the display property right here and select block. What this does is it makes this whole area, you can start to see some area around here, it makes this whole area the link as opposed to strictly just the text. And now the last thing I want to do for this example is, well, just about the last thing I want to do. Go ahead and go to the float, which we'll talk about quite a bit more later, and just float this left. You can see that kind of straightens everything out across. It still doesn't look exactly how I wanted to, but you can definitely see it kind of takes shape a little bit more. A little bit more at the text. So next thing I want to do is text align center, so all the text is aligned within a specific area. Next thing I want to do is go down to where it says text decoration. You can see typically the links by default have this underline. It doesn't really work with what we want to do here. So I'm going to go ahead where it says text decoration. This first one will just say none. So it went ahead and removed my, underline. Next thing I want to do, when I type these out, these are in lowercase. I want to go ahead and transform all these into uppercase, just since they are links. So right here in text transform, I'm going to go ahead and uppercase. And a couple other quick things. So I want to go ahead and set this background. Remember in the example is that bright blue background. So I'm going to go up. Oops, excuse me. I actually want to go down. I'll jump to it right here, background. And the color I want to add, and that blue color I was showing you earlier, or at least that we had in the example, is 64C7FF. Hit enter, and we can start to see that blue color that I had in the example fill up right here. Obviously you can see that the text is still blue, so we're going to go back up. Oops, excuse me. Click on the text button where it says color. We're going to go ahead and set this to white. And we're still getting a little bit closer here. A few other things. Let's go ahead, so these pop out really well. Let's go to font weight and set this to bold. And we're going to want some padding around this, just so we have a little bit bigger buttons and they kind of all fit together a little bit better. So I'm going to go to layout, and just on the top and bottom, we may change this later, but let's go ahead and just set 10 on the top and 10 on the bottom. So our buttons stick out just a little bit more, and they'll look a little bit stronger. Next thing we want to do is, although we have these buttons and they look good, one thing we do want to add, I'm just saving real quick, one thing we do want to add is a hover. So you'll probably see on websites, and I'm sure you have seen it, you can go over a button with your cursor, and by doing that, it'll change colors. So to do that, we have to go to our styles.css and create one more selector. And I'm going to go ahead and hit plus right here. Delete some of this out. So we're going to keep the pound nav and take out the UL and the LI, and we're going to put A for the link, and we're going to add a colon hover. And what this is called a pseudo class. It's similar to a class, but it adds a bit more to the class we had initially, because we're keeping all the same styles as we had in the nav and UL, but we just want to add a little something special when somebody hovers over their cursor. And the last thing we need to do is go ahead and, with that new selector, go to background color, scroll down real quickly, and we're going to go ahead and just set it to that green color, that light green teal color we were using before, and that is 1CE7A9. Hit return.